Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to commemorate the 240th birthday of the Military Chaplain Corps. During the early days of the Revolutionary War that led to our nation's great independence, General George Washington called for the establishment of the Chaplain Corps to minister to the men who braved harsh conditions and incredible odds to fight for the freedom of their families and their nation. On July 29, 1775, the Continental Congress responded to that call. The initial Army Chaplain Corps would later expand to every branch of America's armed services. The very existence of the Chaplain Corps and its persistence over the last 240 years says much about our nation's view of its fighting force. From the beginning, Americans understood that our warfighters are not only soldiers, but whole human beings whose heart and souls need just as much care as their bodies. Chaplains have served in all major conflicts and major wars and engagements from the colonial era to the battlefields of Afghanistan and Iraq. Hundreds of chaplains have laid down their lives for our nation. Chaplains are not simply people of faith who decide to minister in the military. Chaplains are professionals who have had extensive religious education as well as experience walking with people through the challenges of life. Candidates for chaplains must receive an ecclesiastical endorsement from their faith group that testifies to his or her spiritual, moral, intellectual, and emotional preparedness to serve as a chaplain. And they must possess a graduate degree from a theological or religious studies. Furthermore, each potential chaplain must demonstrate their commitment to a free exercise of religion by all military personnel, while at the same time adhering to all military standards of conduct and physical training. In a very real sense, chaplains serve on the front of lines in the battle to ensure religious liberty in our pluralistic society. Chaplains are there for those of faith and for those of no faith. Chaplains are there for the people who serve us. In war and peace, chaplains provide our service members and their families with prayer, counsel, guidance, sacraments, and sometimes just simply a shoulder to cry on. The Chaplain Corps and its vital role in the United States Armed Forces are a matter near and dear to my heart. For since 2002, I've had the privilege of serving of the United States Air Force Reserve as a military chaplain. I volunteered to serve the men and women of the U.S. Air Force Reserve as a chaplain because I believe the calling of all is to serve how we can, in the best way we can. The freedoms of our country have asked no less of us. Chaplains have the honor of serving every member of the armed forces who might cross their path. We see the military from a very unique perspective. We hear young enlisted soldiers and seasoned officers ask similar questions of faith and family. They speak all too familiar of the family challenges and the struggles that they go through. As members of the military ourselves, chaplains certainly are not blind to rank. But given our focus on the unseen, our care for the soul, we do have a tendency to see more of what binds our fighting force together as fellow sojourners in this life than anything that might separate them. You see, our challenges take us from the very war rooms and the very inner circles of commanders preparing for battle to the very newest who serve just on a guard. As I did in Iraq back in 2008, it was my privilege to see some of our best and brightest serving at night in the middle of a land far away from home. One in particular sticks out. When she came, I first met her. She was there arriving late. And when she got there, I was sort of wondering, why did you come late from your unit? And she said, well, sir, she said, I had a little bit of a delay. And I said, well, what was that? I was just curious. And she said, well, just a few months ago, I had my little baby girl. And I thought for just a moment. She said, but I was wanting to be here because I've trained and I didn't want to let my fellow members down. So for the rest of that time I was there with her, over the years, those next few months, we explored and I saw through pictures the life of a mother separated from her young child, but watching the experiences of growth as she not only served her country, but she served as a mom. It's been a tremendous blessing to see and to honor the commitment of our fellow chaplains who go when they're told to go. They commit themselves to serving when others are in need. And those are the kind of stories that the Chaplain Corps' birthday celebrate for me. It is seeing men and women who take their faith seriously, but also take the Constitution seriously when religious liberties are protected, and those are things worth standing up for. It's truly a blessing. And the men and women who have poured our lives into the service members and their families over the last 240 years have made a profound impact on our military and our entire nation. It is with that thought in mind I wish every member of the Chaplain Corps the very best on this special occasion. Chaplains, wherever you are today, as one who serves with you, you serve a vital role. Keep it up. Keep protecting our Constitution and keep taking care of the nations who send their best young men and young women to protect us for the very privilege of sitting in this chamber, of speaking today, and being a part. May the Chaplain Corps continue to provide a strong spiritual, moral, and ethical compass for the United States Army and Armed Forces for many centuries to come. And as one who serves, may I just say bless them all in peace as they go about their work. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I yield back.